Beginning in March, King County took the unprecedented step of moving over 800 people out of congregate shelters and placing them in hotel and motel rooms. Early evidence suggests that this unplanned experiment has produced positive results that offers hope, not only for public health, but for improving the social and economic outcomes for vulnerable community members. A UW research team, in partnership with King County and a Gates Foundation grant, seeks to understand the impact of this resource-intensive intervention to inform future strategic responses to the homeless issues in King County.
And when the pandemic broke out, King County made the decision to move people out of congregate shelters, so emergency shelters where people would be sleeping on bunk beds pretty close to one another, which is, as we know, like an elder care facility, very, very high risk for the spread of the virus. And so the county made a substantial financial investment in moving folks out of those settings into hotel and motel rooms, where they would have their own bed and bathroom and importantly be distanced from other folks. And so in connection with that, the county came and said, you know, we would like to do a formal evaluation here because the early results suggested that this has been extremely successful, not only from the perspective of limiting the spread of COVID-19, it's also been really successful just in the life outcomes of these individuals. And what they've been able to do when they have their own bed, been able to sleep well, they don't have to worry about someone stealing their belongings at night, they have a shower, their personal hygiene is improved, their health is improved, their outlook is improved, and the service providers who are overseeing the shelters and the hotels have said they just can't believe the change in people. And so we just want to see if we can quantify that with the quantitative data. In the qualitative interviews, we also just want to get a sense for, hey, Jeff, you've been in a hotel now, you used to be in shelter, you know, how is this changing? And what we're hearing is people have said, I'm actually taking up hobbies, like I started exercising. I never exercised before, right? Or I'm playing games with my colleagues and friends, right? And so they're developing hobbies, their outlook on life has just changed because they're getting good. We all know what it's like to not get good rest, right? When you're tired, you're cranky. And if you do that in perpetuity, day after day after day after day, it's not surprising that people develop challenging mental health situations, right? And so what we're seeing is people starting to thrive when basic needs are met. And so, part of that will come through in the quantitative analysis, but I think a lot of the really rich information will come from interviews where people just talk about, boy, this has been really nice to have a bed and a shower. The challenge, what I think is so interesting about this is, one, it's a response to a virus, it's a public health threat. But it also has given us a unique opportunity to basically do something that if you'd said 6 months ago, let's move people experiencing homelessness into hotels, everyone said there's no way we can do it, right? Actually, there is. We just did it. We did it because we had to, but it opens up an interesting question of why can't we do this all the time? Now, maybe hotels is not the most efficient way to do that, but we came up with the money, and Seattle's still running. King County's still running. It didn't bankrupt us. And so I think it's for someone like me who's really interested in the longer term response here, it allows us to have conversations that we wouldn't have had before because we just would have said that that's not feasible, it's not responsible, it's not good policy. We did it. Okay, why can't we keep doing it? Why can't we do something that's a little different, maybe not as expensive, but it's not moving people back into shelter conditions that in many cases are not. I've been in a number of shelters and it's not a pleasant experience.
Sure, understandable. So how can we follow your work from here, or where will we find out the results?
Yeah, so the report to King County, I believe, will be public, or at least some format of that will be public on the county's website, which I can share with you. But then our research team will also be taking these findings and seeking to publish them in an academic journal that's focused on housing. And so that will likely happen later in this year, early next year, when something like that would be published. And so there should be two potential venues for people to be able to see the results of this particular study.